The large hulking humanoid sits in a dark room. It is heavily cloaked and wearing a thick leather mask, revealing almost nothing of its actual features. A fire crackles in a hearth, but it does little to illuminate the surroundings. A gloved hand sets a silver figurine on the table. The light catches the metallic object, revealing it to be a beautifully crafted and strikingly detailed dragon. There is a knock at the door, and the individual quickly sweeps the figurine into a small pouch as it rises to open the door. So, last week, you guys, we ran a bunch of mini adventures, and then you decided to kick it down the road to see why people were disappearing, and ran into some orca cultists, and you dispatched them, and discovered that they had killed an enormous amount of local people during the recent crises that most people thought these individuals died to other causes.
Did we ever find out, like, why?
To give them to Orcus.
Yeah, Orcus is the demon god of undeath.
It was solely for the purpose of sacrificing them?
Yep, acquisition of bodies.
Well, there probably is other motivations, but you didn't. They had no clues as to their other motivations.
Okay.
Yep. And what they were doing tracks with some of the world information you've been given recently that have talked about a rise in cultists and things like that. So it's just like these things are becoming more and more common, unfortunately.
And those guys did not fear death, because in death they get to actually get what was promised to them, which was unlife.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, by the way, I thought it was hilarious that you were trying to raise dead.
Oh, bring them back to actual life?
Yeah.
So funny.
That would have been worse, wouldn't it?
It would have.
Much worse. Oh, hey, my microphone just fell down on me. There we go. Fixed it. So, let's talk about some other stuff that's going on. You guys get back to your hold, and you take a good rest. I've already applied your long rest. You get up the next morning, and your river is, like, almost dry. The water level is way below your water wheel for your mill, and you're like, what the heck is going on? And come to find out that...
That was like the one thing I forgot to say something about.
Yep, Galrin Blackaxe, the lord to the south of you, has built a dam on the river, disrupting the flow of the water, diverting most of it out into his fields. This has dropped the height of the river in half. It's a problem. What do you want to do about that?
I meant to say something about it with the other stuff, but
You need to blow up the dam. That dam's getting blown up.
What's our relationship with him?
You haven't met him yet.
Great.
Oh, we have. Okay, I wasn't sure if he was one that we met.
Wait.
Or not.
Nope.
we haven't met. I thought we met everyone around us at the initial meeting when we were given our land.
Nope, you met the other new lords who... The land that you three own used to be owned by one guy who was killed during the War of the Firstborn. And he was a Firstborn cider, so he forfeited his land. It was divided up and given to you three.
Are we able to look into the legalities of this to find out if it was lawful, to find out if we have any rights, to find out if there's anything we can do the right way before we blow up the dam?
No, I don't think we should blow up the dam. But we should.
Country to the south's name?
It's not a country. He's just a landholder.
Holding.
So it's the Black Axe Holding.
A steading.
The question that I would like to know is whether or not he knew this is the kind of result it was going to have on the land.
Yeah, he might just not know that happened.
So you guys start asking around. He is legally entitled to build structures on his land. There is sort of a concept of water rights. You guys are not the only one this is affected. This river runs right through the heart of the capital. And this is where most of the capital gets their fresh water. So it has caused quite a problem, but he's kind of dug himself in against not just you guys, who obviously when you send people to talk about this, the capital responds, the legalities of it there. It's kind of a rather tense situation, but Galrin does not seem like he is gonna budge, and legally, no one's quite sure if he has to.
Well, we're gonna have to go kill him.
No. Jeez.
Okay, so theoretically...
Jeffrey has become like last 2 months Filbert all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So theoretically, if we kill him, do we get his stuff?
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. I knew you were going to say that, and then you did.
No, that's not quite how this works.
I mean, but we would have conquered him.
Actually, I thought you were gonna say is
However-
if we kill him, the problem is resolved, right?
However, there is precedent for, and it's not necessarily illegal for hold lords to go to war with just each other. It's kind of Krennish to do so. So it's there. The possibility's there. If you take him out, though, however, the land defaults back to the Emperor, not to the Conqueror.
We should definitely make it under the will of the king if we do any of this, or the will of the emperor. But we do have access to the Underdark, and we do know how to use explosives to make mountains fall down.
And we have a Sada.
Are you suggesting we cavern out a cave underneath him and just detonate it, and just his land just sinks,
And
never to be seen from again?
And
That's what you get when you mess with the granite back.
We should also make sure that it's videotaped by that Moose Man friend of yours.
I'll give a new meaning to the term, quite literally burying our enemies.
Yeah.
Dude, Andy, that's spectacular. Like how close they put their country to our granite-backed military bases.
No, I don't know. We should definitely do this diplomatically.
Mav wants to initiate diplomatic course first.
Okay.
If for no other reason than to justify our actions in war as we
Yep.
destroy them off the face of the planet.
That's what I'm saying.
Tried to do that before, and nothing good happened.
But you did
We're
end
still
up,
alive.
and you did end up sinking the opposition keep into the ground. There's precedent for
Yeah, there is.
That is very true.
This is the method. Let us begin.
it has already happened.
It's like we've already established that we can just submerge.
All this has happened before. All this will happen again.
Yeah.
So here's how we start this meeting. So we go out there while Jeff is asking all of us loudly about that one time that we sunk an entire.
The last time someone opposed the granite backs.
Yeah, and we'll be like, no, not right now. Now's not a good time. Yeah, but you guys remember what happened? Like, yeah, but now, like, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, but like the whole thing just went completely underground.
Hold on,
Everybody
I think I know who we need to hire for this. Are any of the Red Rocks still alive?
Yeah,
but
Johnny.
Let's send the senior most member of the Red Rocks as our diplomat for this mission.
Guys, for real, just
Don't screw
whatever
with
they
us.
ask.
So, I guess the question in this is: are you sending an envoy, or are you guys going yourself to meet with Galrin?
We have an escort
themselves.
mission
We do have an escort mission.
from the
Um,
Emperor.
Yeah,
But
but,
the-
like, what are we
Can we-
saying time-wise? Like,
Can we contact the Emperor to see if this is a bigger issue than his escort?
Ooh, there you go. Let him decide.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want to put a mission from the Emperor off. However, if this is affecting them as much as it's affecting us, it's something that needs to be dealt with quickly, and it's not something we should send our warlock friend to deal with.
I was gonna say our
the
delegate.
reality of it. The
Yeah.
reality of it is that we're escorting a couple of people versus potentially many people going without water.
Yep.
It's just a little
yeah.
water.
So
And the famine that follows.
Yeah.
you contact the Emperor, and he acknowledges the direness of the situation, and that he uses some creative language in describing Galrin's behavior and the audacity of this dam. However, he needs that escort mission completed.
Okay. So how about we do this? Have we sent
the Red Rock to Black Axe.
You have no Red Rocks other than Hazani, and she'd be really mad if you called her a Red Rock.
Yeah.
And she's not even here, she's floating in the ocean.
Yeah.
He's also in the ocean.
Um.
We send the Hippo
Yeah.
Man, the Gith, and the,
Yeah, seriously,
And
that guy
not
needs
a
something
word.
to do.
and the Nautilid to declare war.
To peacefully request relocation of the dam.
No, just destruction.
Yeah.
Have we?
They were building a dam? Did I miss this?
Did what?
Did we know they were building a dam? Did I miss this?
Yeah,
he,
this
he,
was in-
he,
this
he
was
brought
the
it up
week
in the
before.
in between of the week.
Yep.
Yep.
Has anybody gone to see him?
Yes, several people have gone to see him. He has turned all visitors away, which is
Okay.
his right. He does not have to hold an audience until the Emperor commands him to do so.
Would the Emperor command, since we're already talking to the Emperor, would the Emperor command him to do so, knowing that we plan on addressing this after other things?
I don't think he would.
He is hoping somebody can find a way to resolve this before he has to step in. You've
Okay,
noticed
so
this
he
about the
doesn't wanna
way
step in
he's
unless
yeah.
it's absolutely needed.
And that's kind of the way he's governing the South at the moment. He's really working really hard not to give the impression that he's steamrolling
Emperor.
everybody in the South. And he's already dropped a pretty heavy hand on having cultists and non-worshippers of the divine arrested. Just because of all of the garbage that's gone on because of them. So to do another would be, he's really hoping not to have to do that.
Okay, so here's my thought. We haven't. When was the last time we had a banquet?
A
Oh.
while. Probably
Why don't?
a major one
wanna
probably
invite
was
him?
when the Emperor was there last.
Yeah. So why don't we?
Yeah.
Why
You
don't
wanna
we
invite him.
have a banquet and invite everybody?
Okay.
Invite all the leaders.
Like everyone around us,
guys,
or
how-
Yeah.
like what is all?
Yeah.
Like just
I mean, like
around us,
like
or-
every how specifically the people who are around us.
Okay.
The guy that was kind of taken aback by our warlock is diplomaticness.
Yeah.
The
Who
guy
didn't
that
like our
built the
warlock?
dam, who basically the one guy that might try to kill us, the other guy that we want to kill, and anybody else that might futurely be affected by the Granite Back holdings.
Yeah, specifically,
All right.
to discuss continued peace and prosperity for all of us. How we can all coexist and destroy the Emperor's enemies together.
Okay.
And ours.
So, all right. Well, the
The
invitations.
Emperor's enemies, like our
This
enemies, is the Emperor's.
Sounds wonderfully PC and deflective. I love
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
So there it is. That will start to get organized then while you're gone. So let's do a couple of little side missions. You got marooned people out there. How do you want to rescue them?
Send the Nautiloid.
You can definitely send Fazergol.
How far is this place?
We don't know.
It's honestly where they're at isn't far. They're over the southern mountains in the ocean, right on the southern side of the border. But there are no real port cities for the Empire on that side. There's a few small fishing villages that have popped up, but there's no real governance there. It's and
Where?
they're camping out on an island, kind of just out in the south. Well, let me pop open the map.
South Crane.
Yep.
Here?
Yep, that right about there. They're on one of those little
I
islands
don't.
out
I
there.
don't have a map.
Tony I hadn't shared it yet. Tony had popped it up. So
Oh, okay.
Crane map.
so I was able to see it.
Oh, okay. I get it.
So yeah, they're hanging out down in that area somewhere on just some dumb little island. Ithacus is the next major island over that kind of fits in that bay. So, but they're not real far.
You know what would be really helpful right now, Adam?
What?
Griffin Riders.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, we have bears instead.
Bears can't fly over mountains.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about them for us.
Never underestimate a bear.
Yeah, a granite back bear. At some point, I'm going to tinker glider wings for the bears.
They're gonna die. They're gonna die
Midnight
so-
stealth drop bears.
Yeah. Okay, how strong is Fazergul?
He's pretty strong. You watched him pull a whale into his mouth.
With
A space whale.
Space well. Would he be able to carry a small boat for them?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the small boat for?
For them.
To do what with?
To not have Fazergul as an escort?
Yeah, because I don't know if you noticed in the world news, but people are already, even trying to hide him, are starting to talk about the flying squid.
Yeah.
So basically, you're going to put the boat on top of him, and he's going to go underneath the water, and it's good enough.
I mean, sure, I was thinking that he would float and carry it with his tentacles. But he could do that too. I mean, that might make more sense. But either way, point being, for him to just drop off a boat for them, and then go back to doing whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, alright.
All right, that's a
Big
good plan.
galleon.
So,
I mean, a galleon is pretty big. We only need a boat for 4 people.
and they don't need to, well, no, there's more than that. There was crew on their ship. There's like 16
Okay.
people. But a long boat with how close they are to Ithacus could get... They just need to get someplace to get a good ship to get them to where they're going. And they know they're close, but they're just stuck. Fazergul also wants to know how much beer they need.
A lot. Like any open space, fill it with beer.
Yeah.
He likes that plan. And you send your drunken ship with a ship in its mouth off to give a ship to the people who sank their ship.
Did we man him with the goblins and kobolds? Did that happen?
I don't know.
That did
I
not
don't
happen.
think that happened. I know
Who's
we
piloting?
want it to. He's
Who's
piloting
him? He can fly himself. He just can't like
space pilot.
Warp drive.
Yeah, he can't astral fold without an actual
That's what
pilot.
it is. Astral fold.
Yep.
Can
Yep.
we put a goblin inside him? Just one.
Yeah, but why?
I have my reason.
I feel like you should be more open with those
Um,
reasons.
Yeah.
Circular Blemish could use somebody to play with. He's a very lonely pupper.
Or a kobold?
Sorry.
Just someone to make some traps in there, just to make sure that if anything happens, they're gonna hate themselves in the morning. I feel like someone in one of these other groups is going to invade Fazergul, and I want them to know the facts were prepared.
I don't
I
think
just
he'll
want
let them.
I just want to point out that Fazergul can psychically lobotomize anybody who he doesn't want on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a kobold trap hurts way more.
But
I don't know if
Hurt
that's
him.
true.
I don't know
If
about
you,
that.
if you get hit by a kobold trap, that's your pride being damaged.
Maybe.
If you have a damaged psyche,
Yeah.
like
And
I
the
mean,
damaged
he can.
pride.
Everything's
he can,
bad
He can.
and
He
damaged.
can probably psychically make them think they're on a giant kobold.
I'll be right back.
I in the future want to play a kobold pirate captain. Okay.
All
Yeah,
right. Well, let's move on. The kobolds and goblins can be discussed. Jeffrey secretly encourages a kobold to fly with Fazergul. Fazergul just wants to know if it kills itself while he's on there, if he's allowed to eat it.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So somebody give me a roll for this whole Fazergul getting a boat across the ocean.
oh boy.
You got it. Wait, who? I'll do it. It was my idea. Hey,
All right, that's good. So he's fast. Obviously, Fazergul's real fast. So he does a quick landing in your river, and he disguises himself psychically, and so a lot of people don't even realize he's there.
I thought you meant like he's wearing a ghillie suit.
No, he's got on those glasses with the big nose and mustache.
Yeah.
No one knows. No one
And
recognizes
he's
him.
covered in balloons.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's wearing a whale.
Nice.
So
Wearing a whale.
you-
find this.
You
Maybe-
slip him the boat that you get for him, and he takes off. And he's learned to fly over the continent for the most part by cruising out over the desert. But there's a lot of people who now believe the truth is out there, so they're all lined up in the plains and in the desert. And there are groups of people who are squid spotters, are what they're called now, and they're
Created
convinced.
UFO hunters.
They are convinced that there is sentient alien life visiting them now, and so. But Fosdergold does a good job of keeping himself, for the most part, hidden. So, boat's dropped off. Everybody has a good time. Fosdergold gets drunk with the other dwarves that are all on this crew because it's an all-dwarf crew. He has a good time,
okay, cool.
obviously. They share some memories. He feels very bad for Hazani, and he's glad that she now has people who care about her.
Oh.
Yeah, he showed some kindness towards that. Give me a roll for how this group gets to Ichthus. How well this packed boat ship goes now on the way there. I really want it to be bad. Okay. It is a fine trip. They get to Ichthus. They pull up, and they're met at the docks by a delegation from the Ithacan Senate. A bunch of older dudes, big beards, gray hair, white togas, the whole bit. They welcome the group. Orin, kind of introduces everybody, lets them know what's going on, explains that they had some trouble arriving here, but the problem's been taken care of, and they're ready to get on with business. And so let's get a roll in here to see how well they handle this. I don't believe anybody in the group is very charismatic, so there will be no bonuses.
I'll do it.
Who's in the group again?
Hazani, Hazani, Orin. They're all dwarves. I know that. No.
Yeah.
No, they are all dwarves.
Yeah, they're all
No, it's
dwarves.
not. Hold on. Let me pop open my sheet. I think you took Sky in that group.
Maybe they should have gotten drunk before they disembarked.
Guy, I don't.
No, Sky's
thought
downstairs with the tasty.
People who would be okay amongst other dwarves.
Yeah, and you're right. Sky is downstairs because she thought the Minotaur is strange and neat because he's a
Tasty.
walking
Yes.
tasty.
Yeah.
I don't remember who we have.
I wrote it down on a different sheet. I'm bringing it up right now. I thought I'd just remember this.
Oh, we sent the scholars.
Oh yeah, that's right. Raki and Scoob.
And Orin
and Hazani.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that just doesn't go well. Raki and Skoog are all kinds of just already plastered. They were still super hungover from everything with Fazragul.
No,
The problem is they dried out while on
Oh
the island.
yeah, maybe the boat was too small to take enough beer. Yeah, that's what happened. And so they're totally sober going onto this island, and they're mad.
and they're pissed.
They're mad, and they offend the Ithacan senator delegation by immediately demanding that they go get some beer. The Ithacan delegation wants to take them to the High Minister, and they both just look at them all and say beer.
Yeah.
And so is a failure of.
I feel like Orin is probably trying his best to calm everything down, but he's like, "But for real, we need beer."
And so the senators are like, well, I suppose we could take a quick stop at the tavern on the way there, although it's not normal for Ithacans to start drinking at 8 a.m. And so they take them there, and while they're all there, you are jumped by Yuan-Ti assassins.
Oh no.
And so this is a combat which has a lot of bonuses to it, and that went really well. That is a triumphant success. So the senators freak out, and they're Ithacans, so they're a lot like Kren. So they're all carrying their swords, and they have those cool Copish swords that's got the curved circular blade on the end of it, and they look pretty tough, and they hold their own well enough, and none of them get killed. But you guys, your team just mops the floor with everybody. There's dead snake people all over the place, and everyone's talking about it. No one in Ithacus has seen a Yuan-Ti in centuries, so everyone's freaking out, and your crew just turns around and goes back to drinking like it's Tuesday.
Because in fact it was Tuesday.
It just might be. So we will get back to them next week, but that was a fantastic run for them.
Time they needed it.
Yeah, after
Oh my god.
last week's. So do you want to send a team to help the Sons of the Sphinx in Agara? They called for some help about some sort of infestation with small burrowing creatures.
Yeah.
You don't have a ton of people left. I mean, you do, but who would you like to send? Let me look at list
Let's see
here.
how Hetty does.
Okay, we'll send Hetty.
Yeah.
Um,
Eddie. Do we want to send the Centaur? No, Centaur. Cyclops?
He's in
Oh,
the
so
he's
we
in the
have a
basement.
centaur?
He's downstairs with the archaeologic. He's the
no, he's not. They went to
The ogres.
south to see the ogres.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down below is Sellet and the other drow.
Yep.
And then
And
Matthias and
And Sky.
Bias and
Okay,
Sky.
so you could send.
Skoog.
Nope.
Not Skoog.
no Skoog is
What's his name? The
Raki?
Cyclops.
Sodic.
No. So
Sodic. So send Sodic, Hetty,
Mm.
the Warlock, and one more. Who else?
just send that group again.
Is Grummy?
No, not Grummy. The Grummy is incapacitated.
Until
that's right.
yeah,
the druid. You're a druid.
Tabby.
Pixie.
Oh, Tabby.
Tabby.
Sure. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a
why
good
not?
group.
This sounds like fun.
Okay.
Honestly, if they're gonna be dealing with the Sons of the Sphinx, that's probably a good group because there's only
They're all
one of them.
Abstract.
Yeah.
All right.
The
So
Warlock is the most normal, and he's a Warlock.
that when emo boy is the most culturally appropriate. Emo sailor boy.
yeah.
Oops.
So you get there, and your group realizes pretty quick that the Agara has a very serious problem that they were trying to keep somewhat discreet. There are multiple capable people in this city. The Sons of the Sphinx were no slouches. They displayed themselves very well in the war. There were plenty of non-humans who have weird powers that some would consider unnatural, but to be very effective. The problem they're having is they have an infestation of ferric mites. These are basically like large termite-sized rust monsters that are on the loose in the city. So
Did you say large termite size?
Yes. So they're like 2-inch sized rust monsters that burrow into the mud in the ground and pop up and then eat anything metal nearby. So you sent a great team to deal with this because none of them really are packing any metal except the Warlock probably. No, he's got a packed weapon, so he doesn't have much metal on him. And you have a couple of sets of studded leather armor to lose here. And so you sent a good team. So you may roll to discover the source of the ferric mites. You can have advantage on that, and I will give you a good bonus.
Thanak, light it up.
Yeah.
I'll give you advantage on all these rolls. We'll just let that be out there. And the bonuses will vary depending on what they're doing.
Nice.
So you have a druid with you, so they're very nature based. So that is a success. They track down. It's really strange. They have a termite hill, much like a normal set of termites would do, but it is completely underground. So it's more like an underground ant colony that doesn't have a normal exit to it. But so they track down, they find the mine. So now they need to attempt to exterminate them. So you got a big Bubba Clubber, and 3 magic users. So yeah, you'll have a good go at this too. Yeah, that is a triumphant success. So your crew blasts their way through these bugs. And as they do, they wipe out the colony. It lights on fire. Hetty's cackling madly as she uses her draconic magic, basically to just... It's like when we as people pour gasoline down a wasp nest in the ground and light it on fire, and just having fun. But then the ground caves in where they're at, and they realize these tunnels are much larger.
Yeah.
So now they need to follow the tunnels, which are a bit of a maze, because... At the size of these tunnels, there's something quite a bit bigger than termites living down here.
Oh.
So it's partial success. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It takes them a while to track it down, but they get into a chamber that has this massive rust monster-like queen bug that has this long egg sack thing coming off of her backside. She's probably 90 to 100 feet long after that. And so this results in a combat with this monstrosity.
I know thing. There we go.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a nice, solid success again. So your team blasts its way through. The Sons of the Sphinx are thrilled that you've eliminated the problem. Their rebuilding efforts in Agara have been set back quite a bit because almost all of their metal in town has been destroyed or eaten by these creatures. However, it does reveal a fairly large source of iron underground, which is what likely attracted the creatures here in the first place. So they have an opportunity to mine and recover, and the Lion Man, who you guys had met so many months ago in a tavern in your resting house, promises to send something worthy of your actions to your hold for your people.
Hey,
Nice.
Mike.
Yeah.
With the nature-based group that we have there, are they able to figure out if maybe... So I'm thinking back to that eyeball in a jar, or the ooze in a jar that we used to find organic life.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they could harness those things' ability to find metal to maybe improve upon
It's a very interesting
finding or
idea.
metallic finding processes to harness that a little bit, and if maybe we could utilize someone from that nature group to maybe figure out if they could do that.
Yes. We'll make some Discord rolls on that. All right, so harness termites to turn them into compass detection style for metals.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's interesting. So let me flesh out what that would look like. It won't screw anything in the campaign up, but I just want to see what that does.
And then obviously brand it and sell it.
Of course. I mean, why wouldn't you? That's what has to happen. You know, I would say with how well you guys rolled through that whole thing, you had a success, a triumphant success. The worst you had was a partial success. I'll say, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and allow that. Your people believe they can figure something out with that, so they collect some of the smaller bugs that are getting away that people are, trying to track down and eliminate. Ones that aren't as big of a problem, and they gather them up, and they'll figure that out. They will be able to create 4 or 5, let's say 5 small glass globes that you could still feed the creature through, and then you put a stick with a leaf on there to replicate its natural habitat.
Yes.
And
we were talking about how we needed iron back home, or we needed something.
you don't need something, but you have this giant underground complex that might have minerals in it. You know you have gold down there.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing I was trying to...
Yeah,
There it is.
You can do that. Let's talk about what happens to Cadmus. So Cadmus is having bad weather problems in his area that everybody pretty much knows is caused by some sort of magical thing. So let's, as this group goes hunting down the source of the magical problem. So we roll for that. How's that going? Poor Cadmus.
Back to you.
Oh, that's pretty good. He doesn't have an overly magical group, but they're wise for the most part. So they track down the source of the problem. It's coming from a series of canyons that are off to the northwest of Illinois. So
Series of tubes.
it is a series of tubes. So let's search these canyons. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That is a
It looks
success.
like it rolled on, or landed on not 11. It looked
Yeah.
like a 13.
I thought so too. But 11 is still with their bonus, just enough to qualify for a success. They track down to a very strange pack of druids, dressed all in black robes, dirty, real gross. The druids don't give them much of an opportunity to discuss anything with them, and they basically, what it amounts to is they command that the infiltrators, the interlopers, worship their god Glabekaflek. And everybody's like, Cadmus is like, yeah, no, and goes to kill them.
Of course. This one's just a regular roll.
Yep.
Oops.
You have a fairly combat-heavy group, though, so it is going to push it up to the 12 to qualify for a success.
Yay.
So they deal with them much like Cadmus deals with most problems. He cuts them all up, and as they're chopping their way through these people, this black ooze begins to leak out of them and begins to form into this eyeball-y tentacle creature that is shooting lightning everywhere and calling it down from the sky. And now they are in a much more dire battle.
Othig, bringing it in.
All right. The DC on this one is pretty high, so that is going to be a partial success. It doesn't go real well for your team, but nobody's killed outright. But a couple of people are hurt really badly, and 2 of them are going to need clerical attention once they get their spells back, because there are a couple of clerics that Cadmus has recruited, as Glflick has infiltrated their bodies. And you have watched as their eyes have turned black, and they begin to spout nonsense and gibberish and breathe lightning on their companions and friends. It becomes a pretty serious problem that they subdue their friends, get them back to civilization, and get it taken care of. But they're pretty sure they've just dealt with an elder child.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
That's what the report you get from up north is, that has happened. And no one's real happy about that at all.
Could we recruit, like, force this is a outside question. Could we force Cadmus to recruit a specific class?
He's been attempting to recruit arcane classes, and he's been having a lot of difficulty with it. The North was they were not, I don't want to say wiped out. There was a lot of damage done. A lot of the arcane classes were destroyed during the war.
Okay.
So it's hard. But there's a few that are about to become available at the Wizard's Tower. There's a certain werebat that is amped up and ready to go to handle things.
Ooh, girl!
Rudy would like to. He's getting antsy to get out on his own, and
A werebat?
yeah. Don't you remember Rudy the werebat?
Oh, is that the stupid kid that ran off?
Yeah.
Yep. Not so stupid anymore. He's a werebat wizard.
The kid's go first.
All right. So the last little order of business is the granite.
Can he cast spells while he's
Werebat?
transformed?
I imagine he acts a lot like Alucard in Symphony of the Night when he transforms into a bat and has those powers.
I just imagine him floating around, like flying around, and like just nuking the ground as he's
fucking fireballs and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
lightning bolts and whatnot.
Yeah.
Verbal, somatic.
So your team exploring your caverns. They can continue north, or they can go back to the northwest, southwest, or the southern passage. Which passage would you like them to go to?
As an aside, I think we should definitely. I don't know if anybody actually said anything, but we should definitely spend the gold to make the
mine.
the mine for the gold.
Okay.
Spend the gold to get the gold.
Yep.
Okay.
Spend the gold to get the gold.
How far? So Celet had said that there was water down, but it was far down.
If this is what he thinks it is, if it's a boar tree, that it would go miles down past what you all consider to be the Underdark into the deep earth, which
So
is not
to-
someplace he's interested in going.
Right.
Can
I
we-
just think. I just think it would be. I was thinking about maybe having a secondary water source, but that would not be feasible.
No.
That
And I mean, this is a underground structure of legend to him. Like these are things that they told stories about. You know, this is like us talking about trees larger than sequoia trees that are petrified out there somewhere. This is just like nobody's ever seen this before.
Yeah.
So he's never encountered this, but the stories say they go so deep that after they die, they either fill with water or they're so deep they're full of lava. And since you can't see light from anything down below, he's assuming that it's water. But they're contained units. He doesn't... He doesn't think that you normally find passages into these things. Because he's never heard of anybody finding one.
Yeah. Well, I think because he's never met somebody who's found.
I
one
mean,
of these.
I'm sure there's others out there.
I just mean I think we should take these whatever we know of these things as fantasy until we actually find it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What point is, like, if allegedly there's not supposed to be any if they're supposed to be self-contained, we shouldn't just take that as fact.
Well, obviously there's 2 passages into this one from the south that you came through, and then the one heading out to the north. So the question still remains: do you guys want to explore the north channel and see what's on the other side of this room, or do you want to explore one of the ones to the south?
What do you guys think?
I think south.
That's fine.
Yeah, definitely to the south, because that's the direction towards the guy that dammed up the river.
That is true.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. So you got southwest or straight south?
Straight south.
Okay. Straight south follows a bit of a river. It fills up most of the passage, goes on for about a mile, and then it forks and goes almost straight east and west.
So did we find a secondary water source? Is that what that would be?
There is a secondary water source at the bottom of the keep. There's water leaking in from everywhere that you think is from the groundwater created by the river. And so far it seems to be flowing still pretty well. But with the river being lower, that might change in the near future, but for now it seems to be fine. So the path branches east and west.
Could one of them taste the water?
Yeah.
See?
Oh, you guys already did that. That's already been done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the water
So
is.
this water down here is.
It tastes very, very minerally, but it doesn't cause any ill effects.
I mean, people pay a lot of water. People pay a lot of money for mineral water.
Yeah, you could totally bill it as some sort of like miracle, like bougie mineral water. If you
But it doesn't give Thanik the runs.
Nope, nobody gets the runs from it. Although, to be fair, Thanik hasn't tried it, so it still might give Thanik the runs.
Just Thanik the runs.
Yeah.
Is it evil water?
Did we ever find out who was doing that?
Yeah, we did. I don't remember who it was though, but we definitely found out who was doing it.
It was the firstborn. They magnesiumed all the local water sources so that everybody got sick during the rebellion.
That's right.
And then they drank purified water, so none of their people were sick.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's sketchy.
And Thanik just built an immunity.
Yep, absolute
immunity
immunity to it.
So now I prefer my water with magnesium.
So gross.
It's just not the same without it.
Yep.
Not.
East or west?
East.
Let's
East?
go. Well, yeah, east, sure.
Okay. So you follow the river east, and it opens up into a huge underground lake. There are multiple rock islands and a couple of large stone columns, lots of stalactites and stalagmites coming up out of the water and hanging down from the ceiling here. There are hundreds of bats everywhere. And while your people are here, they encounter a bunch of blind Sahagin that have taken up residence in the lake, and I need a combat roll from your team.
Oh, be friendly.
Not our.
Oh, these guys are not interested. You have a group of... Yeah. Oh.
Hey, now.
Bam. So
you go,
your
thanks.
team wipes the floor with these guys, and they discover that the Sahagin seems like they infested this lake because they have built a shrine out of these really strange pearls. They're more like you ever suck on a hard candy until it goes flat and it becomes a disc?
Yeah.
That's what these look like, but they're pearls. And there's these really odd-shaped, almost completely flat clams down here that make these things. And so they've basically created a shrine mosaic on one of the islands in this place. It's a really cool site. It could be dismantled and be extraordinarily valuable, or you could just leave it too.
Nope. Gods are bad. We don't need them cursed. They're going to turn into Sahagin.
It's definitely a shrine.
Can we
Yeah,
figure out to who?
Let's leave it
We've
for
got two
now.
religies.
You do have well, he's not really all that religious, as he just hung around religious people and made sure they didn't die.
Sell it?
Oh, no. I was thinking of Matthias.
No, sell it and...
the
Claire.
cleric.
Oh, yeah, they would, yeah. Yeah, go ahead and make a D20 roll on that.
who's up?
Eh.
Mav.
Andy, I think.
Oof.
Yeah,
Okay.
they got a good bonus, so it's a success. This is a shrine to a fish god known as Dagon.
Dagon. Okay.
So not the one that wants to see us again?
No, that's
Not our bestie?
Badilla,
As-
blah, 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 blah.
As an aside, does Sky try to eat the Sahagin, and do they taste like fish?
As an aside, Sky is already eating the Sahagin,
Yeah, okay.
and she does not like the way they taste, but she's unwilling to let a resource go to waste.
Yeah, okay.
It's like that drink you get out someplace that's just terrible, and you just keep drinking it because you ordered
She's
it.
staring at Matthias while she does it and fantasizing that she's chewing on his leg.
It's Matthias on a spit rotating over a fire. And then make a roll to see if there's anything extra in this place that you guys find, because that's how all these cave systems are going to work.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good. Your team also finds. Let me make my roll. Okay. Let's see here. There's the list, and you guys find it's a crude carving, but on one of the other islands, on a pillar, there is a carving of it's a city. You can tell by the way the things are that these are buildings. They have windows, they have doors, but it's not like anything you've ever... Actually, it is like something you've seen before. It is very reminiscent of the old world, and it has this... it looks like it was carved to have this shield above it.
The old world?
Yeah, when you've had the dream of the collapse of the old world with Fazergol.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of reminds you of that. I mean, it's two-dimensional, and it's real, it's almost like when... You guys remember Rampage, the video game? Yep. The buildings kind of look like Rampage skyscrapers with some other buildings nearby. Like, in the middle are the tallest ones, and then they fan out. And then it has this dome over it. That's it.
Huh.
Interesting.
Do we want to...
But you guys can ponder that.
Where did the Sahagin... Does it look like they were just here, or is there, places where they could have come from?
Well, you're in a big underground lake that has 3 rivers running out of it to the south.
So they could have come from a few different places.
Yep.
I'm just wondering, does it look like there's an easy way to isolate this stuff?
No. There are... The entrance you came in... Yeah, that's fantastic. Tell it's an aspen, because that's the way it is. I love it so much. There are 2, one on each side of the cavern, rivers running directly south out of this cavern, and then there's one running almost directly east. That's down in the southeast corner. Tomorrow I'll post the updated map with the lake on it. But yeah, so there's other entrances, and that's where we'll stop that for now.
Okay.
You guys...
do we want them to, take anything, or do you want to just leave everything as it is?
Document it and leave it as is.
My concern, if they leave it as it is that more Sahagin will come and take this stuff.
Who cares? It's their space.
Put the hot
No,
sauce
it's not. It's Granite Bag space. We own it.
Put their heads on a stick.
And Sky looks up at Matthias, who suggests that, and the heads are, in her mouth, and she's rolling them around, spits it out, and looks away.
They're being used as resources.
Sorry, eat head.
I love
you
that
could-
in this, I'm probably Matthias.
So,
Or I'm
somebody
probably
wants to
Sky.
say,
Mav is Matthias. I'm clearly Sky.
Eat head. Alright, so you guys...
We need to play an adventure where the 4 of us actually play these 4.
I have headed west down the road to Diovuna. You've walked with Jenica and Fellerin. It's a 3-day trip. It's quite a long ways away. Thanak, you would notice this more than the others. The others hadn't spent a lot of time with these guys, just on that one side adventure you took into the north. But your friends are deeply altered by this experience. We've hinted at it before, but even as some of their stability has come back, you catch them both all the time mumbling to themselves, and very often they have that 1,000-yard stare on them where they are just gone. Yep. And an escort was sent to retrieve them and to bring them back once you let what's his face, Moreland know how bad off they were. But these guys they're just traveling mercenaries for hire. They're just escort guys. They're nobody that really knew them or special. They're trusted people that have been used before, but it's not anybody who's close to them. So you do notice that your friends they're really broke. The Slod did a number on them for sure. So you hit Diovuna. The escort continues. They travel over the mountains into Barovia, and you estimate you guys have an evening, and your person that you need to take care of should be arriving tomorrow morning. What would you like to do? Anything you'd like to do?
We're in Diovuna.
Yep.
Do we know anything about this place or anything fun that we want to learn about?
You've been here before. Othig spent almost a year here.
Yep.
We've been here before?
You might not have.
What did we come here for?
This is where you met with the Black Claws before.
Yeah, and we fought the Were-Rats here.
Yep.
Or not here, but like.
Yeah, we did all land here.
Yep, you got the key here that you needed to get into the other wing of the labyrinth. Was near here.
We met
so I don't know if Jeffrey
Ziz on our way out. Into
I don't know if Jeffrey would have known about that.
Jeffrey doesn't know.
Jeffrey went. Well, he should have. Well,
no,
that's the part that he wouldn't have known about because he didn't know about the key. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And he couldn't legend lore labyrinth stuff yet because he wasn't in on it.
Yep. While we're here, do we want to sample some of the local luxuries and then see if we, can't learn anything or have some fun? Relax for once?
You guys go ahead. I will stay with Valoran and Jenica.
They left. They went on to...
Oh, did they leave already?
Yeah, they just kept going. They're hoping to make it to Kresk before nightfall.
I get it. Okay.
Oh gosh, you said that name and I was like, why are they going there? And I was like, wait, that's mine. That's my place.
Yeah.
That's my crest. My crest is bad. Yours isn't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So that's where they're hoping to get to for the night.
Last time we were here, it was all business, correct?
Yeah, you guys landed, said hi to Ziz. Ryan, Othig picked up a new skill, and then Ziz helped you get out into the desert.
Yeah, so let's just have Othig take us to the swankiest place in town and get hammered.
Done.
All right. Diavuna's come a long way in the last few years, thanks to New Barovia and all the trade interaction that has really kicked up there, especially in the last few months, now that the Emperor has moved further south and there's a great need for sturdy lumber. I mean, you guys have the forest to the south that you're milling, but there's a great difference between palm lumber and, hard oak timber and the pine that grows in Barovia. So there's great demand for the supplies coming through there. Diavuna has gone from basically like one of those towns like Kenosha or Janesville that lost their auto plant and everything was about to fall apart to doing better than they had ever been before. So there's quite a few changes. Othig says you tell him the swankiest place, and Othig immediately thinks of the dive bar him and Hector used to hang out at. And he takes you there, but it's not a dive bar anymore. And the best way to describe it is it's now kind of hipstery. And all these people who have gentrified Diavuna are all talking about the old days of Diavuna, and you walk in and you're like, what the heck happened here? And it's kind of sad. Othig, make a sadness check.
Basically what happened is that we asked Mike to take us somewhere, and Mark showed up and was like, I know a great place.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they still serve beer.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
Yep.
It's weird, craft beer that,
It's got honey, and it's got, what are those creatures? The bugs. It's got bug venom in it.
Oh yeah.
From the hive spire.
Ugh. Yeah. So you guys sit down, you start to have some drinks, and the evening's illusionary broadcast kicks in, but it's different than you're used to. They're picking up a different channel here, in different productions. You are now watching the IBS, the Illusionary Broadcasting Service, and it's news. You're getting a news broadcast, and they're going through things that are happening all over the world. You find out that the country of Chamsburg is on near collapse because so many people afflicted by the Evernight insanity have not healed. And there is all sorts of like mayhem and foolishness going on there. And you're just picking up news. You're hearing about shipping from other places. You find out that the Zinji Empire has expelled the Hobgoblin and Ogre invasion, and they did it in short order. And there is lots of rumor of a massive golden dragon that was leading the Zinji fight. Although there's no broadcast of that. And then after that, it gets into a few different things that you've never seen before. It's basically shorter competitions based on intellectual skill with random chance involved to win cash and prizes. So you're watching the dawning of game shows.
Yes.
And it's a very different thing than you took part in or you're used to, but there they are, game shows.
Is MXC on any of the channels?
Oh my gosh.
No, there's no MXC. Not yet.
No. He said
Not
game
yet.
shows, not
yet.
ridiculousness.
Not yet. It's not there.
Seems like somebody needs to market that idea quick.
Don't get eliminated.
So you guys, you spend the evening there. You get a meal. It's all good. Drop some traveling coin.
Who was it? Mav, do you need to go to Shamsburg? Doesn't somebody need to go to Shamsburg?
Where do I need to go to? I need to go somewhere. I think it is Shamsburg. So that's in game.
Yep. So while Andy's looking that up, anything else the others of you want to do?
I know, didn't we say that Ziz sometimes stops here, but like very rarely, either for jobs or supplies?
Ziz lives on the outskirts of town. This is his hometown, but he doesn't live in town.
Yeah, I know he doesn't live in town, but doesn't he come into town sometimes?
He does sometimes. He would go to the general store.
Yeah, I know, like, some of the locals would know him, so can I try to see if, like, he's been around lately, or if he's in town, like, right now? Because I'd want to meet up with him if I could. Or, like, how far away outside of town is he?
Half
like,
mile. Not far.
So I can go visit him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to go visit him.
Okay. So you guys, after dinner and a few drinks, you head out into the desert, and you're being all loud and laughing, and going up to Ziz's house, and I need perception checks from you.
I know what's going to happen.
There's a shrine in Chamsburg, Thanik.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. I wonder if that's gonna.
Oh, dude, that will never happen again.
Yeah, nope. Roll your D10.
Oh my gosh.
Dude!
Thanik is maxed. Or both things is maxed out.
Absolutely fantastic. So, this is not how I was expecting this event to go, but this is how it goes. You go up to Ziz's, like, collapsed, ruined house, and it's funny because walking out of town now, there's a lot more homes built further out of town.
Wait,
and,
was it always collapsed and ruined?
Yeah, absolutely. He lived in a small burrow under the ruins. And so you start heading up there, and you're getting ready to bang on the wood that covers this thing. And from out of the sand behind you guys, and you three are shocked by this, but Othig's waiting for it. Ziz pops up, and he just starts to climb over you guys, and he goes to tackle Othig, but Othig is like, "Oh no, buddy," and turns around on him and just kind of scoop slams him over, and Ziz stands up.
Got him.
Ziz stands up, and he's cheering. He's just buzzing and shaking all 4 of his hands up in the air and beating on his chest and stomping around. And then he does like fake bows to you, and he gets on the ground, and he's like kind of doing the Wayne's World "I'm not worthy" thing. I'm not worthy. So he's happy to see you, and then he hugs you, and he does his pantomime language that you've kind of picked up on, and he wants to know how you've been since the war ended.
Cool. Well, I'll just kind of give him the high level overview of kind of what's happened and where we are, because I'm sure he doesn't know, like, we just moved to the south, so I'd want to tell him that, and that we have our own keep, and he's welcome to come there anytime that he wants. If he's
Okay.
if he's gonna make a trek across the desert, and then I just want to tell him like why we're out here.
Hey. Oh, hey, Outhink.
Hey,
Tell him we have bears.
I'll tell him that we have bears.
Are we on our bears?
No,
I don't think we
not
are yet.
next
They
week.
weren't quite ready.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you said
No, 3 weeks. That we have one more week left. If I'm not,
Is
if
it?
I'm
Yeah,
calculating
you had
correctly.
some time left. So you tell him about the bears. You tell him what you're doing.
I'm waiting for it.
And he bends down and he draws pictures of castles and he points at you guys and like you have a castle and then he thinks it's really cool and then he draws a picture of a bear and then he kind of stomps on it and then he draws a picture of a scorpion and he starts cheering and waving his arms around like it's just scorpions are cooler than bears.
He's not wrong.
But you tell him that he's welcome to go there anytime, and he looks at you guys really quick, and his head's snapping around, and his mouth clicks a bunch. Then he dives into his burrow, and he comes out with his armor on and a couple of his weapons and a bag full of stuff, and he just starts walking off into the direction to the east.
I will use.
I'll stop him. I'll stop him because I'd want to tell him the part about the escort mission, so we're on our way back. So if he would come with us, like that would be excellent.
Oh, okay. So he nods at you, and he gets what he's talking about, and yeah, he'll come with you. He's happy to come with.
That's awesome. This
Hey,
is
Jeff.
great.
Hey,
You
Jeff.
just recruited a bug man to the guild. He needs.
He needs what?
Jeffrey would say.
He needs what?
A contract.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't think he needs a contract.
Everyone needs a contract. That's.
It's just as they're part of the family.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff.
Huh.
You have polymorph, right?
Yeah, I am polymorph.
You are polymorph.
Sorry, gosh. I think I just stroked out. I am our polymorpher.
Give 3 gold.
I am polymorph.
Could you polymorph into a bear with a scorpion tail?
I've.
If the
I
answer's
heard-
not yes,
Well,
get
hold
to
on.
work.
Here's a story I heard about a thing your cousin did with
Doesn't
a
he
T-Rex
have to-
with a pig head.
Doesn't he have to see it?
I don't know,
I'll draw one for him.
but I can certainly try. And if the weave grants it, it might happen.
No, if you see it, is just for the druid.
I drew him what you wanted.
You did draw it.
Where did you draw it?
He just made a roll with his calligraphy kit.
Oh,
So,
right there, yeah.
yeah. Also, Thanak, you're experiencing a very heavy buzz in your head, almost like when you're out of beer after you've been drinking all night. You know, some people call it a hangover. You call it a warning symbol that you're almost sober.
Yeah.
But it's a thrumming sound, and it is not unfamiliar to what the sounds that Ziz is making.
What's the relevance of that?
He's turning into a bear or a bug.
I'm turning into
A bear bug.
So are you
Bug
gonna
bear.
are you gonna try and turn into Scorpion Bear?
Yeah, I'll try and turn into a bugbear.
Make an Arcana check.
Can I do an intellect check to see if I can figure out what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
I am not becoming a bugbear.
Um,
In fact, I'll probably become a scorpion with a bear head.
Which
Oh,
is
that's
also
pretty
just
cool.
terrible.
so you use polymorph to become whatever it is you think you're going to become, and it's this terrible thing. You shrink down, and all this flesh rolls around for a minute, and then out pops a turtle with fur and like insect legs. And Ziz is like, he makes noises that everybody
No.
knows is like that. That's gross.
Do I have any bitey parts?
You have like
Yes, they're on your feet.
you have like a tortoise mouth, but you have lips instead of a beak, so it's really gummy.
Ugh.
I would like to latch on like a weird turtle, furry turtle leech.
Who are you
Does he
latching
have a
onto?
tail?
No,
Does he have a tail?
there's like a snapping turtle tail, but it's covered in fur. So
Because this was his idea, I'm latching onto his leg.
I'll just take my hammer and just kind of like push him off. Like I don't want to touch him.
Thana, the experience you're feeling in your head is really similar. Now that you're concentrating on it, as to when Fazragol is talking to you.
Oh, is someone trying to contact you?
Okay.
That's it. That's all you get.
But I can't understand. It's just buzzing.
Yep.
Like static.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Is it static or is it buzzing?
No, it's more buzzing. And sometimes Ziz will make noises, and you, like, that's what I'm hearing in my head.
All right.
Do you tell us about that, Thanak?
No, because I think this is what happens when I get sober.
Oh, all right.
All right, so Ziz is ready to go, you guys. And you guys start to head back to town, I'm assuming. He doesn't really want to do that, but he'll follow you. Because he starts, as you start going back to town, he starts pointing at all the new buildings that are almost out to where his shack is. And he just makes sad noises.
Oh, Figure, are you still listening?
Nope.
Apparently not.
So
Yeah,
is the assumption from Ziz that he likes to be alone and people are encroaching on his stuff?
More the second half of it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because he's very friendly once you get to know him, but now it's just like his world is changing again. And he was... It was very hard for him. Othig would have figured this out after spending almost a year knowing him. It was very hard for him when he lost his place in the colony to readjust. And now he's readjusting again. Because his people... His people
like
don't...
outcast.
Yeah. Because he lost his antenna, so he can't pheromone to his people anymore.
Yeah, so they just kind of...
Yep.
Yeah,
and his
shunned
people
him.
don't do change very well. And so this is just really hard for him.
Would we be able to somehow, like, just pick up his place and drop it over in our territory? And be like, here?
He wouldn't be attached necessarily to his place. They keep very few personal things. It's just where he lived. So
It wasn't his home.
Wasn't his home, yeah.
So like the few baubles that he does have that are his would be important to him, but the house itself wouldn't be. It was more like the environment around him, and since you can't really take all of that. He liked the town when it was little. He liked the fact that the people in the town needed him. They don't anymore. So now he's just this bug dude who lives on the outside of town.
So hey, Mav, while we're traveling, I want you to draw him a picture. I want you to just like, wait, guys. No, but could you?
Still good.
Do we have a map of the hold?
Yeah.
If we show him Ziz, I mean, can he point out where he would like to live, and we can help build a place for him?
He'd be more the type of guy he'd just start exploring and find some place that felt right and just dig a hole.
Which makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. And he won't need much. You might find he just ends up living in a crack in the cliffside. So he doesn't need a whole lot.
Likes it.
Yep. So the next day, he camps out with you guys, and he doesn't really sleep. He kind of just goes into like a huddled up, like kind of like an owl would, where they pull their wings in and tuck their head down, huddled up mode. But his head continues to look around all the time, and you get up the next day and you wait for your whatever you're waiting for to come through, and you're pretty sure you spot it pretty easily. A carriage pulled by a team of 4 jet black horses comes over the ridge and starts making its way down the mountain pass, and it pulls up at the crossroads in Diavuna of the different places and where the town meets, right across from the inn where you guys were hanging out, and it just stops there.
We were only told that an escort mission needs to happen. We weren't told who it is.
You were not.
I don't think we asked.
We didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
So the driver,
friend.
the driver turns and looks at you,
Oh, friend.
and he says,
Oh, friend.
"Are you the granite box?"
They are.
Good.
Aye.
Good. We've been hoping to find you quickly when we got here. We need to be on our way. Come on. And he just kind of hitches the horses, and they start to trot off down the road.
Who are you?
I'm Barney. And
Barney?
I'm Barney.
Oh.
I would, as he gets going, I'm going to attempt to climb up in the buckboard next to him because I'm little.
He. What's your AC?
Oh, I don't know, like a 15? Yeah, it's a 15.
Barney gives you a boot to the face, and he doesn't push hard, but he's like, "Oh, no, you can stay on the ground." Did you bring any horses?
No! Why would we have? We were escorting somebody.
Good,
We
but
weren't told that there'd be a carriage.
you shouldn't have been. But who leads somebody without horses?
Our bears
People who
weren't
like
ready
to
yet.
walk. Oh, that's true. The bears weren't ready.
Bears aren't ready yet.
He just starts laughing at that. He's like, all right, all right. I guess old Barney will pay for this too. And he climbs down out of the carriage, and he looks around and he grabs some kid like right by the ear. Some kid who's playing the hoop stick game, running down the street. And he just snatches this kid super fast by the ear, and he's like, "Horses! I don't do. I buy them." And the kid's like, "Ah!" And he shakes him a little bit. He's like, "Where's the horses?" And the kid just points, and he's like, "Okay, play with your hoop." And then he just stomps off over to a building, and he comes back later with 4 horses, and he says, "Does the bug ride horses?" And Ziz just makes these really angry sounds with his wings. He's like,
I would tell him that he's fast enough without a horse in the desert.
Let's get an elephant.
Because he is, right? Isn't his movement through the desert is like...
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah.
But Ziz could ride an elephant.
I don't think he wants to.
But you haven't asked.
I'm not going to.
He's not
Here's
wrong.
the deal. If we come back with an elephant, Sky is going to be real excited for the big taste.
You don't have to get an elephant here. You could get elephants in Giraffe or Minos. There's much closer places to get elephants if you want them.
Does
Cheaper.
Ziz want something to ride for the trip back?
He makes a little symbol that you know to be like a scorpion stinger thing with his little claws.
He wants a
Nice.
scorpion.
and you have heard rumors that his people do ride them.
Is there a place in here that has emperor scorpions or whatever?
No.
The Hive Spire has rideable scorpions.
Yeah, and
Does it?
nobody goes there.
Oh, okay.
That's
We
out.
could go there.
That's out in the blood wastes. It's not safe.
Heard rumors of other people making it there and surviving.
It's happened.
Hey, Mike, you need to, name these places, Happy Valley.
There's some of those places out there.
And then when you go there, it's that's
terrible. It's
Yeah.
It's called death.
It's
Yeah.
just awful. So Barney's just gonna start heading out of town again.
Oh,
Okay.
Hop on the horse.
really in a
Let's go.
hurry. We're not asking any questions. We're just okay with.
I was gonna say we should. I don't think there was a contract for this per se, was there?
Oh,
Not-
the Emperor.
not per
The
se.
Emperor requested it.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
Let's just make sure.
From
let's
Mav.
just
It's the only
confirm-
guy in the universe who can non-contract Mav.
Let's just
His word is his bond.
let's just confirm that this is the right guy, though.
Yeah, we just need to verify
Yeah.
real fast. So we'll just verify with him.
He's like, "I knew who you were. Of course it's verified.
Everybody knows who we are. We're the granted.
Oh, little Mr. Big for his britches." and this is just some crusty... Barney is not the carriage he's driving is very different than him. The carriage is very ornate. You can tell it's rich. It has this really cool, iron wolfy looking symbol on the side of it. But Barney is he's a crusty old dude with this big floppy
iron
hat on.
wolf?
Yeah, and this big brown trench coat. Yeah. He's the exact opposite of his carriage.
Wouldn't happen to be from Barovia, would he?
You could ask him, and he would tell you he is from Barovia. And then he'd be like, "New
This is some sort of-
Barovia."
New Barovia.
Barovia.
I would politely ask him who it is that we're escorting because we did not ask the Emperor.
It's like, the Emperor wouldn't have told you. I don't even know who we're escorting. All I know is they paid me a lot of money to drive this rig. It's not my usual rig. Usually I drive a potato cart.
Potato cart. Do these horses look like they belong to the cart, or like the horses?
These horses look like they belong to rich
potato
people.
Horses?
These are not potato horses.
Not potato horses.
No.
Do they look smarter than they should?
The horses?
Yeah.
Make an insight check.
All right.
So I have a question. We're not escorting him. I mean, we are, but he's escorting somebody else too.
He's leading a carriage that has someone in it.
Are we escorting Barney or the person in the carriage? That's the important thing.
He's the coach driver.
Barney's driving the carriage. There is someone in the carriage.
So we don't have to protect Barney.
Yeah, who are we escorting? Are we escorting Barney?
I would say we have to protect Barney also.
Yeah, you probably have to.
There's
not part of the contract. And we'll have this conversation in front of Barney so that he knows how.
Well, no, I mean, because there comes a point where, like, our job is to bring a specific person or group of people or whatever to point A to point B. If Barney's not the person that we're supposed to escort, then if he decides to leave halfway through, fine.
Yeah, so you guys are talking about this, and Barney's like, oh, don't you worry about old Bernard. And he tips his hat and disappears. And you hear a creak. And then, like, standing right alongside of you is Barney with this massive heavy crossbow, like, leveled right at your neck. He's like, I can take care of myself.
That's great.
Why aren't you escorting this guy?
No, I'm fine with this. I'm okay with this.
Ziz makes a whistling sound that you know is like, ooh, that was cool.
That was exciting.
Yeah.
So my final question is, I would like to use my universal speech and ask the horses who's in the cart.
Okay. Can you talk to horses?
I can with universal speech. You can use a bardic inspiration die and choose a creature that you can magically understand, regardless of the language you speak, or if it doesn't speak any languages.
Okay.
So basically anything.
Anything that has a half a brain.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem with this though. You can ask this thing a question, but
it's probably not going to know the answer.
It might. We'll see.
It might say that it wants an apple.
We'll find out in a moment.
Make a horse check.
Persuasion.
Animal handling.
Are you an apple?
Oh, animal handling?
Yeah, it never gets used. It's a perfect opportunity to use it.
Yeah.
Sure.
The horse goes to bite you, and it says none of your business.
Horse dumb. It is my business. I'm being paid. And I'm just gonna like...
It says it's being paid too.
Andy, what are you doing, man?
I just... My power strip fell.
Livestock.
Trying to fix that.
Right on.
That's all. Done harassing livestock.
Okay. Well, I guess we're all set then. Now that we've squared all that away. Which is nothing.
How big is
we've done absolutely nothing and figured out absolutely nothing. Let's just get on our way.
Yep.
Is this just one horse-drawn carriage, or is it
Just one. Just one large black carriage, 4 horses.
all right? Well, why don't Othig and Jeff take the front, and then Mav and I will take the rear.
Sure.
Right on.
You would take the rear.
Oh,
With you also take the rear.
Would Ziz scout?
If you don't calm down, I'm gonna take your rear.
Mike?
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
He's fast and can probably cover a lot of ground while we're...
Yeah, you guys watch. You ask Ziz to scout for you, and you watch him run off the road. And you know getting off the road and anywhere in this area can be pretty treacherous. It's very duny. The sand can get really soft. You experienced some of the sinking sand as you went to cross the desert to find the key for the labyrinth. And he kind of just runs and skips across the sand with his wings beating, almost like he's running on top of water. Is the way he's doing it, and he just zips off, and then you see it at a certain point he dives and goes into the sand.
Well, there's that.
That's awesome.
So You continue on, and Barney's like, "That's some bug you got there." He's all like zipping around and running on the dirt. You know, most people run on dirt, though. It'd be more interesting if you ran on the air, but that'd be kind of weird. You just fly. Whatever. And he snaps his horses, and they continue down the road.
Love it.
So you guys travel the rest of the day. Kind of in silence for the most part, doing your jobs, riding in front. Ziz checks back in every once in a while. And you get down the road a bit, and Ziz pops up out of the sand, and he looks agitated. And yeah, there it is. That's but with wings.
Nice. That's
Yep.
totally it.
He looks very agitated, and he puts his arms out and kind of bends them like, you know, kind of like, so he makes triangles out of them, and he does this, and he just starts stomping around, and then he starts to make other motions, and makes some wings types motions and claws, and then he just pulls out his weapon and points at you guys, and then points down the road.
I'm gonna look at Othig and be like, "Can you understand what he's saying?"
Does he know if we should just continue on, or if there's a safe path that we can work our way around to give ourselves an advantage, or maybe ambush whatever it is that he's signaling us for?
You guys know if you went into... He's definitely signaling you that there's an ambush up ahead.
Have we not gotten to Pregasa yet?
You are not. You're about halfway there.
Okay.
So, and it's getting close to the end of the first day.
Okay, so he knows that there's an ambush, and does he know of, like, does he think, you know, us diverting, like, either a little north or south to, like, maybe counter-ambush this thing would work?
He doesn't normally come out this way. If he leads people out, it's straight into the blood wastes. This is unfamiliar territory for him, so...
You said that he saw that there's an ambush?
Yep.
Does he know how big the force is?
He draws 4 slashes on the ground, and then he draws 1 really big slash off to the side of them.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine.
Is he able to communicate whether or not they're people or if they're less than people?
He shakes his head at people. He shakes his head no.
Are they
And
like
then
you?
he makes the symbols, the actions again. The arms kind of angled out and hunches his shoulders up real high and kind of bounces around, and then he makes the wings movement again, and he tries to do something communicative with his face, but he's just not quite getting it.
There's 4 little slashes and 1 big slash?
Yep.
So I'll point to him as a little slash, and Mav as a little slash, and Othig as a little slash, and Jeff as a little slash, and then I'll point to me as the big slash.
He bonks you with the backside of his staff, of his pole arm, and shakes his head. And he doesn't really have facial expressions, but you know he is very disappointed in you.
The funny thing is, I use my universal speech to speak to a horse, and I'm not using it on him.
I was about to ask if there was a way that I could try to interpret.
Yeah,
or
no,
understand
actually,
him more.
now I'm thinking about it. Does comprehend language, would that work with him?
It's not real well. Othig would be just as good at interpreting him as comprehend languages is, because it's not a verbal language. It's different, and so you would get an impression like Othig does of what he's saying, but you wouldn't actually get language.
Right.
So, but Othig, there are basically 4 hulking creatures and something that flies. That is obviously bigger or more powerful than the hulking things.
Okay. And he doesn't, does he think that there's a way that we can...
He doesn't know. He was just scouting off the road. You guys would know that heading very far to the south off the road would put the carriage in danger of sinking really easily. Heading towards the coast is really rocky. Lots of washouts and things like that, so you don't know how well you're going to be able to progress that way either.
Hey Jeff, do you have any illusory magic that we could use
I have a few.
either blend us into nothing that we could pass it, or make an imaginary cart that we could use to go forward and then see how they deal with that? You know what I mean?
I have greater image, which I can make sounds and things with. I also have this. Well, no, I'm not going to explain that spell. I have another spell that I could use, but that's just for me. And then I have the ability to command a large group of people to do my bidding.
Okay. So my thoughts are that if you are fine with this, maybe we cast Major Image to have us or a caravan go forward while we stay back and see what they do to that. If they actually do ambush it, or if they don't care. If they do attack it, then they're out, and maybe we can figure out what we want to do after that.
Yeah, I could use a spell to try and do that.
Okay.
Are we all on board with that?
I like it. That's good.
Can someone else make me invisible while I do that?
I don't think so.
I don't think anybody can.
All right, Ziz, can you teach me how to swim through the sand?
He starts zizzing and laughing, and then just looks at you really seriously and shakes his head.
All right, fair enough. I'm gonna go.
Okay. So you go creeping out ahead.
Wait a minute. Wait, real quick.
What?
Oh, never mind. Is Q's weren't knowing what's in that ritual book would come in handy.
What ritual book?
Nothing worthwhile at the moment.
Phil's ritual book.
Yeah, nothing worthwhile for this.
Okay.
So Jeff, make a stealth check. Hi, Lynn. My wife just came home.
Hello, Lynn.
Oh,
Hey.
very nice. Very, super nice.
Wow.
Okay, so Jeff,
I dive into the sand and swim off.
and you hear as you swim away, Ziz is clapping all of his hands.
Yeah.
It's great. So you crawl about a quarter mile up ahead, and it's the sun's starting to set, so it's getting dark. But hiding off the road behind some rocks, you see 4 very large creatures. You've seen a few zoos in your time. The Emperor keeps one now in Minos. He had one in Krenshad. They look like really creepy orangutans, except much larger. They have very monstrous faces, blue skin where their skin shows through, but they're very ape-like, orange fur, and they're milling about. And then as you're hiding there watching them, something flies over you and lands near them. It's a really quite large, blue-skinned dragon creature.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
It has wings. It looks a little bit like a dragonborn, but you don't know. You don't see many dragonborn. They're extraordinarily rare, but you've seen a few here and there. You saw some with the Sons of the Sphinx, and you've seen a few in the arenas over the years. But it is distinctly different than that.
Okay.
Its neck is just longer. It has wings, which most dragonborn very rarely have. A tail. It walks more like an upright blue dragon, and it starts yelling. Do you speak Abyssal?
Oh gosh, I don't think so.
Okay. It starts yelling at the ape-like creatures, and then the ape-like creatures begin to behave better, but not much.
Okay, so it definitely seems like it's in charge of them. How long did it take me to get here?
10 minutes.
Okay, so I'll utilize Rare's telepathic bond to let these guys know what I'm dealing with.
Okay.
And then I'm going to
Have you
utilize major image.
included Barney in that?
No, because he was a turd to me.
What about Ziz?
Yeah, he was cool.
Okay. So Ziz can now talk to everybody. It's really weird.
Like, and we can understand them.
Yeah. I always forget you guys use Rary's telepathic bond.
Well, yeah, because we don't understand the language, but
you understand his
telepathic bond
thoughts.
Telepathically, yeah.
So he thinks something and he flat out says, "This is weird."
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll let them know, and then I will utilize and cresting up over nearby the cart.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got this cart cruising down the road, and what do you want it to look like? Are you gonna make it look just like the one you're using, or are you gonna make it look different? Okay,
just like ours.
So it comes down the road, and the ape-like creatures immediately like focus on it, and they get ready, and they start to scramble forward. But then the dragon creature barks a few words at them, and they turn around, and they look at it, and one of them points to it, and the thing shakes its head in the universal no symbol, and then the apes start to go again, and then it breathes lightning at them. And they all kind of cower down behind some rocks. You feel like your illusion has fooled them, but not the dragon.
Okay. So I'm going to communicate with the guys that they should hold put, and I'm going to wait for that thing to leave.
It leaves very shortly afterwards.
Which way does it head?
Heads back down the road from which the fake cart came. So towards your friends.
All right, cool.
You were describing the dragon creature. It's not a dragon, but it sort of looks like one.
It's a dragon humanoid that looks distinctly different than a dragonborn. It looks honestly more like a really large lizard folk with the way its neck is extended and its arms are gangly and hulking, and it's got a tail, which most dragonborn don't.
Yeah. How big is it?
It's close to 9 feet tall. It's not quite a large creature, but it's well on its way.
Okay. So I'll let them know that it's headed their way. And then I'll wait. And then I am going to see if they end up seeing the creature.
Yeah, we'll just be on the lookout then.
Yep.
Okay. You guys definitely see something flying in the sky. It's far enough away from you to where normally you would have just thought it was a bird.
You guys, and I'll tell you guys, you should get its attention, and I'm going to deal with these guys.
I can shoot an arrow at it. Like, how far?
It's too far for arrow range.
Yep.
Okay.
You guys should progress quickly and engage it, and when you engage it, I'm going to deal with these guys.
But
all right.
We might not be able to make it engage us.
No,
sure.
I'm not saying as in immediately. I'm going to wait here, and the next time it leaves these guys to head towards you, I want you closer so we can separate out this fight. You guys fight that thing away from these guys, and I'll deal with these guys.
All right, let's light some torches. Oh wait, how is it late? Is it at night?
It's
getting towards night.
Yeah, it's not even quite sunset yet, but it will be very shortly.
So let's light some torches.
Thank you.
Okay,
Let's light some torches. See if we can like. Is there like hitches on the carriage to light torches?
Yeah, there'd be some you could
like
stick on it.
sconces or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Sconces.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah, pretend like you guys are making camp or something a little ways closer, so it comes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll just. I mean, like, we can keep an eye on it.
All right, so you guys, it kind of hovers and it stays just on the edge of your vision. Jeff, it is now basically circling right above you.
Okay, I will hunker down and hide.
Okay.
And then wait for it to head towards those guys. And then my goal, I am going to use Major Image to make myself look like it, and then use my universal speech to go and talk to them and tell them that it's time to go and head in a different direction.
Okay.
Nice.
Make a stealth check. Or not a.
I was gonna say I was buried in the.
Yeah. No. Well, see, here's the
Damn.
thing. I need it to not notice you too, because it is circling over you.
Oh, okay.
So it needs to not notice you, and then you need to fool them.
So, stealth check. Nope, that's a natural one.
Yep.
Oh no.
So you
Can't you not roll ones?
Huh? Oh, I can't roll ones. Thank you. Thank you.
butt save.
Yeah, well, it's a 15.
It's
not much.
It's still better than a nat 1,
It is.
because he was about to roll the 10 to subtract from it.
Mhm.
So, Jeffrey, you believe? Actually, I better make a check. All right. For a minute, you think you have this. You are. It's focused on your friends as they're approaching, and they're getting quite close now. They're only about 100 yards away. And you sneak up and you transform into the creature. The other creatures have noticed, and they all come over, and they're screaming at you in abyssal. But you don't feel like they're angry at you. It's just the way they communicate is loud and shrieky. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would utilize universal speech to be able to communicate with them, which is a D10.
Now make a deception check.
So I can communicate with 7 creatures.
There's only 4 of them.
Okay. And then a deception check.
Yep.
Okay, that I'm real good at. Oh yeah. So I would like them to believe that I am this creature, that the one that is flying in the sky is an imposter, and that they need to destroy it so that we can continue with our mission.
Okay. They believe you because they wanted to attack the carriage before, and it told them no. And so they were so confused by that. And now this, oh gosh, my Discord just flipped. It's still up, but the whole screen just went black, which that's fine.
Yeah, your frame rate is really low.
That's fine. It's got to be Discord or whatever. So, and this thing comes swooping down to attack you, but as it's on its way in, and you can see lightning crackling in its breath, one of these other creatures there it goes. Bye, Discord. There it goes.
Yeah, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back, but again, my Discord is now crashed off screen, and I can't see anything. So
that is so bizarre. I wonder.
You should get that fixed, Mike.
I would love to get that fixed. Honestly, yeah.
What if you take your headset off and put it back on?
Maybe then it'll happen.
I don't think he was here when that happened.
He wasn't.
No, he
wasn't. It wasn't for him. That's fine.
But my,
you, Ryan.
I feel like he would feel better knowing that happened.
I don't. It's really weird because what has happened too is I'm looking at my OBS and my CPU usage has spiked up to 74, and it was at 19 2 minutes ago. So I don't know what has caused my CPU to spike like that, but something has.
Russians.
Probably the Russians.
Well,
no, Iranians.
And it's always right
Yeah.
about this time too, Mike.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's 3 weeks straight
The
of
Russians
this.
and the Iranians are the same place.
I know you probably don't want to mess around with this right now, but if you think about it later, or if you want to do it real quick, the task manager, maybe just see if there's duplicate applications or services running that are causing it to be really high.
Yeah, I'm gonna, because I wanna use my stuff.
That is all the answer you needed. I'm gonna, because I wanna. Alright.
Sounds good.
No, not really. But the thing that is sucking up most of my CPU resources is OBS.
Maybe once you get to a critical point in recording, it starts to struggle more with.
It might. I'm gonna stop the recording and then I'll restart it once it catches itself up.
Adam could give you the best advice that all the successful people